calling you a radical, so remember. Oh, it's going to be a 5th of November to remember. So this is important. A lot of historic stuff happening here. So if you're still listening to, I can't believe Nate Silver. Nate Silver's never got anything right. Nate Silver's pathetic. He's never got any election right ever. How do you prop him up? Oh, because it's the New York freaking Liar Times. So important. I could walk and chew gum at the same time. So Weber State basketball opens here at the Nuclear Palace, the GGG, the merger of Utah construction that built up the nuclear army. The Waters Curse opens today. This is historic and important. Then we're going to talk election. We're going to talk Fukushima, the pump and dump that is being perforated on the American public on their nuclear energy lies and renaissance and political theater. So as you know, I always go to D.C. Always this week, and I help out at the Peace Vigil. Always. So the thing that's so historic, I'm so glad I got to do that for all those years. I was there, of course, in 2020 all week. I was on the national news, NBC, CBS, all over the national news. I did hundreds of interviews. I was on French television. I was on all over because they're interested in Fukushima. And, I did multiple interviews, dozens of them, because the public square is that powerful there. The public square is really that powerful there. And Pennsylvania Avenue has really evolved over the decades to the great public square for voices, street art, incredible. And there we are set up with the Peace Vigil. By the way, what's happened to the Peace Vigil is really, I'm not happy about it. It's got to be fixed. But anyway, so that's over. That incredible, the thing, I'm so glad that I got to be a piece of that 2020, 2018, 2016, 2014, all those, clear back to 2020. Absolutely incredible, especially in 2020, 2018, the street art, the activism at the public square on Pennsylvania front was incredible. Now it's dozens and dozens of snipers with guns pointed at your head, and it's completely boarded up. Thank you, Trump and his useful idiots. It's a disgrace. And so, let's talk election, then we'll talk Weber State basketball. So it's important Weber State basketball opens against a native school in Washington up there. Incredible, the salmon. Northwest Indian College. Now, it's Indigenous Week here at Weber State. It's an important week. It's really historic. There'll be a prayer ceremony at 8:30 in the morning at the bell tower. It'll be important because this is an historic moment, not because of Harris versus Trump, culturally, grassroots-wise. So, this is Indigenous land. I grew up here. I worked on that palace when it was being built. The plaster F-10, it's one of the truly great arenas in the world. It's absolutely incredible, the Purple Palace. Got a curse on it as far as winning? I don't know, ask Damian Lillard. He plays against Donovan Mitchell tonight. Here I go to basketball. Round 2. I know them both personally. But it's important because this is native ground. We call it Shadow Valley here for a reason. Very hallowed ground. I grew up here. I know. And it's very controversial when they did that. And I think that's one of the few things that Weber State's got. I have a way bigger voice around here than people think. Way bigger. Because I'm not on the payroll. That's the thing. The problem with the golden handcuffs, I went rogue, blah, blah. If you're on the payroll, of course your work, your PhDs, your teaching style, everything's going to be polluted. Because you're going to bow to whoever signing that check, the state. And the private institutions are even worse. The private institutions are disgusting. Harvard, Stanford should be boarded up. So should Harvard. Copy-paste PhDs, freaking fart spray, it's so disturbing and so disgusting what it's evolved into because the imperialists have infiltrated and taken over this country. So, the election. So, I won't be in D.C. I'm glad I didn't get a plane. plane tickets are like 600. Everybody's expecting all this, that, the other thing. Well, you can't get near the public square. The public square is sealed off. They've moved the peace vigil back. They've boarded everything up. I mean, you're not getting near it. It's very, very sad. The voice of the people has been squashed. So how do I think the election's going? Let's talk about the election. I knew that Trump, play back the tape. I had my Russian hat at the White House. The Russians have occupied the White House. Clinton-grad, Trump-grad, Clinton-grad. Days before the election. Many days before the election. I knew. Now remember, this political theater in the United States, MSNBC versus Fox News, which are both imperialist bootlickers. Remember, MSNBC fired Phil Donahue for calling out the lies of Iraq and Afghanistan. They're imperialists. Both parties are exactly the same. This election is not going to be close. It's not going to be close. It's not going to be close. This electoral college, I think, will be very similar to the Obama electoral college. And for different reasons. Obama ran as the peace activist on the anti-war platform. And then he became the war criminal. He's going to go after the war criminals, and then he becomes a war criminal. Obama didn't do anything, he said. Obama remembers the biggest letdown in human history, and that's unarguable. Everything he ran for, he didn't do any of it. Willie Ledbetter died this year. Look what he did to Aaron Swartz. 35 years for downloading the server. Look what he did to Megan Rice. It's disgusting what he did. He droned more people than Bush. He ran on the anti-war platform, and people knew the lies of Afghanistan and Iraq, and they fucking were done with it. Remember, the Democrats got a landslide. They got 60-40 Senate. I think they picked up 80 seats in the House. What did they do with it? They didn't do anything with it. Status quo. In 2016, people were not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. And a lot of Democrats. The unions came out in Pennsylvania and actually told their people not to vote for her. What was going on? Her laptop, all of it. And Trump was a very different candidate, of course, then. People didn't really understand and know the fraud of Donald Trump, and they really believed his rhetoric when he said he was a successful businessman. And think about the Celebrity Apprentice people. They're out now, oh, we're sorry we propped him up, but they're still selling books. They're pitiful. I knew what fraud Trump was, but I knew what a fraud Hillary was. So voter turnout was very low because this country's so dogmatic. Operation Foxconn News, one by jet stream, two by cable TV. They're so politically dogma freaking done that this guy driving around with this fucking snap. They're so politically done. The two major issues of this campaign, what they should be. What they should be. What should the two major issues be? Number one, the cover-up of the Fukushima nuclear energy meltdowns that's genociding the Pacific Ocean. Should be number one by far. It's the greatest event in human history, the greatest crime in human history, which Trump participated, tripled down. Obama Biden. So what's the other? The debt. You hear either candidate talking about either one? So it's about, she's going to get well over 300 electoral votes. It's not going to be close. It's not. The whole polling dog and pony show. It's a close election. Of course they're going to tell you that because they know anybody that knows anything knows this is all about voter turnout. Because this country is so paralyzed in political dogma, they are crippled. Mission accomplished. Got to keep them separated when they're not separated. They're both imperialist parties. They're both warmongers. They're both run debt. The GOP's trying to tax the future, give to my friends. There's no difference. They're war pigs. The military-industrialized complex rule. The billionaires have got such control of this country, these imperialists, Lord Bezos, Lord Gates, Lord Musk, they own media. They own lobbyists. They write bills. They become the government. These parties are exactly identical. So is there going to be any change? Well, let's go back. Was there any change with Obama? No. You look at Obama's memoir, status quo, status quo, status quo. He didn't change anything. Fucking. How about Trump? He's the counterculture. He's the anti-insider. He's not a lifetime political fucking blah, blah, blah. He gets him, runs against the established Republican Party. A lot of Democrats voted for him for that reason. And then he hires all the establishment Republican Party. Trump didn't do anything besides run fucking dead. Status quo, status quo. Biden? Fuck. Biden's fucking just as status quo as the rest of them. He didn't do anything. I mean, fucking disturbing. So things going to change? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. But you're Nate Silver, New York Times. That dude has been so pathetically wrong his entire life. He never gets anything fucking close. He's got Trump winning this by a freaking big margin. And then he'll come out after the election and say, I was right on. He's never right on. Oh, Kevin Blanch is. I remember the Obama administration, I got the Electoral College to the vote, to the number exactly. Because there was a contest we had up here at the university. It was like 30, 40 professors, students, whatever. To the number I had it. I was at the White House. I knew that Trump was 9-1 on the freaking board. But I knew people weren't going to vote for Hillary. I knew this was going to be incredibly radically close. This one's not going to be. This is because Trump's a very different candidate. Trump's off his rocker. Trump he's completely different candidate and it's all political theater. She'll win easily. So I'm glad I didn't buy a plane ticket. Plane tickets are outrageous. Everybody's flocking there for what? So will there be a similar situation that Trump? No. And I'll tell you why no. Because I know. I mean, we're the piece of it. We're the eyes and the ears of what goes on in D.C. We're there 24/7. I mean, I talk to them almost every day. They've got it boarded up like Fort Knox. I mean, it's literally, it's really sad that the public square, which evolved in front of the White House, I've been there so much, and so many videos, so much work there. Being with Megan Rice there the last time I saw her before she passed away. I mean, I remember sitting there, can I get a picture with you? Beautiful Plowshares women. Dorothy Day House, so much great work there. Yeah, and I take the picture and she's like, oh, it's you, Kevin. You know, such a great freaking venue it was for street art, activism. I mean, it was such a dichotomy. So beautiful, so incredible, especially the last decade. Well, it was until Trump's useful idiots ruined that. Out in the street, that's where we'll meet, not anymore. So it's an historic day. I've got some historic work tomorrow. Some really important videos are going to go up tomorrow. And so, basketball, metaphors matter. I think it's so incredibly important. And I have a big voice around here. Big voice. And this native land right here. I will quote the great Anthony Johnson, who died, who pulled that incredible upset against Damian Lillard when Lillard was ahead 22 points on March 10th. Yeah. 20. Whoa. That infamous day in the house that GE built. He never missed a field goal, never missed a free throw. I think they scored 56 points. I think he had 42. You couldn't stop him. You know, the number one free throw shooter in the country. Ray wouldn't keep the ball in his hands, named Damian Lillard. He did an interview. Here's that. You never did that before. You never did that again. Greatest performance in the history of this building, bar none. I had an out-of-body experience. For the angels, they watch out over me. This is a very spiritual place. And indigenous people played basketball. Indigenous people played basketball for many, 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 many thousands of years. They used to use vines, wrap up, use a ball right here. Right here. They played basketball. So I think it's so irony and important that they're playing. They did it last year at D2, and I think it's really important. It's such a part of indigenous. And by the way, they're not from India. Why are you still using India? I mean, so it'll be a powerful week here in Utah. It's going to be so ironic and so important, because the first women vote, that all started here. Right here. And the first state, well, Utah wasn't a state then, but they gave women the right to vote when they were still territorial. The first official state was Wyoming, and Utah. It evolved right here. Will Harris be different? Well, the track record doesn't bode well because we know Trump was status quo. Obama? I mean, Dumb and Dumber was filmed here at my buddy Butch Chavez's bar. I got a You can see my hand in one of the scenes. I got to ride the Mutt Cup, man, right here on 24th Street. Bush dumb. Oh, fuck, was he dumb? Obama dumber. Trump dumbest. Sliding with old man. I don't know where my spent fuel was. My Biden was pathetic. And I did an interview almost a year ago talking about, and it still blows my mind that Trump was given the nominee. Now, how was Trump given the nominee? Now, we know in 2016 the reason that put Trump in the White House was Hillary. Democrats didn't want freaking Hillary. They wanted Bernie. You should have seen it here. Fucking Bernie won 80-20 in the Democratic in Utah. 80-20 in the Democratic nominee vote. And we know Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Google it. We know how corrupt that all was. If Bernie would have freaking been president, he'd still be president. This country would be vastly different. So who propped up Trump this time in the Republican? I cannot believe the Republicans put up Trump. I really, it's the only thing I agree with Mitt Romney on. I know Mitt Romney personally. He's a cancer survivor too, by the way. The Democrats did. I remember Democrats turning out in polling places, voting for Trump, because they knew the only chance they had to survive with old man Biden, the only chance they possibly had was putting Trump up. Because there's so many Republicans that will vote against Trump. Ask Mitt Romney. So I cannot believe, Trump 2028, no doubt in my mind he'll rerun. Trump 2028, he'll freaking be running, as long as he's alive, he'll be 100 and still running. I mean, it's not going to be close. They know that they have to tell their voters that it's close to polls because they know this is all about voter turnout. Will be women put her in the White House? No doubt. That's the issue they're going to vote on. The issue people should be voting on the FUKUSHIMA coverage, but both parties do that, right? The debt, both parties do that, right? I mean, so where's the difference? It has to be us grassroots activists, and I don't believe in violence. They do. Agent provocateurs tried to take over the remember the 5th of November. They were hired to take it out. People says, where's your groundswell? They slandered us. They attacked us. They went ever. So many of the original million mass marchers are dead. They impoverished us, but what we accomplished, long below Black Lives Matter, the Million Mass March changed the way policing is done in this country. That's unarguable. I mean, it's still got a lot of work to go, no doubt. But dramatically, we're the ones that did that. It has to be at the grassroots level. So basketball metaphors matter. Weber State season opens. It'll be interesting to see. Dylan Jones is playing for OKC, sitting on the bench. That's Player of the Month in Europe, Jerry Carding. He played against Scotty Bamforth the other night. And I will say this to young athletes. Forget the NBA. Even if they're going to try to get in. Ask the great Ruben Nemhart. Ask Joe Ballenboy. Ask Jeremy Sigma. They're just going to waste your time. You're going to sit on the bench. Jerry Carding. He got offered an NBA contract. He turned it down. He's let me plenty of money in Europe, and I want to play. The great Joe Ballenboy, who played in Russia, who stood up to, when Brittany's going in, he's coming out. He stood up to freaking Putin. He sued the Russian for his contract and won. He played here. This team hasn't made the tournament. This is the longest stretch in the history of this program. Hasn't made the tournament. And they still have the same coaching tree. Same old, same old. You can almost set your sundial by this team. Win 20 games, out in early March. But it's a hell of a boot camp. I mean, these guys shine in Europe. I mean, really shine. Jerry Carding, a guard. Who shoots 71% from the field? Maybe a center. He's dunking it. Maybe Will Chamberlain. He's a guard. He's the best I ever saw. Ever. Him and Dylan Jones. And so we'll see. Remember the great pump and dump that's going on the nuclear freaking energy stocks? That's exactly what it is. Reality means nothing. This election is not going to be close. And there'll be no violence and there'll be no nothing because they're ready this time. And I know this for a fact because I talked to I'm always there. I'm glad I didn't buy a ticket because there's no reason because you can't get near my house, the great public square. You can't even get near it. So it's completely boarded up, pushed all the way, which is very sad that that's what we've got. Because the First Amendment has been so crushed and violated by social media platforms in this country. Just remember this, the CEO of YouTube died tragically at 58 years old of cancer. You know, and they are some of the greatest censorship, First Amendment violators in history. And I really fight for her. I really fight for everybody that lost their lives from cancer. I don't care what their political dogma. I don't care. They can attack me. That's fine. I take the high road. Forgive them. They don't know what they do. Oh, they know what they do. So this election is not going to be close. What's my prediction? And I always get it right. And it's just going to be a very sacred day tomorrow, you know, here in Utah. You know, it's very important, very spiritual. I'm a very spiritual person in that way. And so I really believe in a lot of the indigenous ways that raised me. I really believe in them. And indigenous people play basketball. Why are we still calling them Indians? They're not from India. So, but I think Weber State finally got something right, opening up the season with an indigenous D2 college. It's important. It's important because sports metaphors matter, and it's cultural. They played basketball for literally thousands and thousands. They put poles up, they play across. I learned that as a very young boy. It's a very spiritual place, and I know that. They call it Shadow Valley for a reason. There's indigenous words and very spiritual place. And so what will Harris do with it? I don't know. But we know the track record over this horrific deicide quarter century. Will it be the end of Trump? No. Trump will run again in 2028. Trump has destroyed the Republican Party. Well, they destroyed that before. Bush and Cheney did that. And the Democrats who destroyed the Democratic Party and turned them into the warmongering, anti-environment. They're both anti-environment. They hate the environment. James Carville did that. James Carville pink and stinks. I mean, these are both imperialist, debt, warmongering, freaking hate the environment, pathetic parties, and their propaganda pom-pom team called MSNBC and Operation Foxconn News. It's disturbing. So remember the election in 2000. That's when where's Roger Ailes? In hell. And so what a fucked up quarter century. So I think the electoral college, I think she'll go north of 300. I think she'll probably be in the 306 to 311 range. 311? Whoa. Will she be the superfecta of the greatest crime in human history, the Fukushima cover-up? Obama told the second greatest lie in human history. What the hell? The plume is coming over us right now. Scientists tell us it's safe. Only fool will know. Sharon Mills' emails are coming out saying yeah, no. What's the third grade? That's the second greatest lie in human history. What's the third greatest lie in history? Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction when he full well knew that they did not. The carnage from these lies and the conspiratorial mainstream media, Operation Foxconn, KSL from hell here, pounded war drums Afghan and Iraq. Nobody from Afghanistan or Iraq laid a hair on anyone. You know, these lies of this century. This first quarter of this century have been nothing but lies. Debt and genocide. The Great Pacific Genocide. Will Harris change things? Well, I highly doubt it. You're still waiting for presidential politics to save you? I got a bridge I will sell you. You know, it's pretty bad when you have to sell your children and your youth. Move to Europe if you can. And that's exactly what I tell my grandchildren. Get out of here. There's no future here for you. The food's poison. The water's toxic. Poison. The billionaire freaking imperialist class have total control. It's a war colony. The debt's so cycling out of fucking control. GMOs in our food, in our water. Get the fuck out of here. I tell young players that right there. I talk to them all the time. If you get a chance to go to Europe, take the contract in Europe. You'll make plenty of money and you'll be happy because your health is your wealth. Dylan Jones, the greatest player who ever played here, yeah, sitting on the bench. Jared Harding plays every day, all day, the entire game, and just shatters records. Think about that. Is it all about the money? Yeah. He only got $13 million, but is he playing? You know, he's going to have to be patient, and I think he'll still be a superstar. Yeah, we'll see. But, and nobody's paid my bet. I bet everybody around here, stake of the timber mine, that he would go first round. Nobody's paid the bet. So remember the 5th of November. Just remember, I do not believe in violence. Violence is the worst. And will there be it? No. Nope. They're ready. They weren't ready before. Oh, they're ready. And I know this for a fact because we are the eyes and ears. They've moved us back. The Andrew Jackson statue. Oh, God, you believe that's still there? This election's on the 5th of November, an important day. I don't believe in violence. You know, figurative speech versus literal speech is very different. So, agent provocateurs, oh boy, they pull every dirty trick in the fucking world. But this election's not going to be close. Now, at the senatorial race, will Cruz get beat in Texas? I think it's possible, but I don't know. It'll be close. That election will be close, but you know, the dogma. You know, just remember, we remember in 2008 when the Democrats had the massive majority, 60-40 on the back. What did they do with it? Nothing. Status quo. In 2016, the reason Trump won, his voter turnout was so low. And the fact that the election comes down to a couple 100,000 rednecks in freaking Pennsylvania, the electoral college is a joke. But it is what it is. You know, that's happened, 4 times in American history now? The popular vote has not become president, which blows my mind that we're still bowing to the electoral college. It's ridiculous. We the people, I mean, my God. And the way they violate the First Amendment in this country is just, well, it's illegal. The Supreme Court, well, there's another thing. Just because you have that, you're still going to have that same Supreme Court. We know what they are. But they ruled against Google. They ruled against these social media sites for violating the First Amendment. They're still doing it. I mean, so, what, you're going to have Merrick Garland fucking go after somebody? That's the worst freaking AG in history. In history. He's even worse than Holden Obama's, and he was horrible. And the one Bush, oh, God, you go back to all that. I mean, it's been pitiful. And then the Trumpers, oh, my God, that Trump administration. They were all the old school. Ask John Bolton. They're the same people that led into Iraq and Afghanistan. You know, if Trump would have said Fukushima, he said it on Joe Rogan. A little late, Trump. A little late. I tried to get him to say it. You violated yet? It's going to be women that put her in the White House. It's going to be women. It's going to be the woman vote. It's all about voter turnout, and this is not going to be close. My guess, the electoral college, she's going to go between 305 and 311, Kevin. The 2 biggest issues in the country, bar none, the Fukushima fucking nuclear disasters that are genocide in the Pacific Ocean, all this evidence that Kevin Wax presented, and the debt. Neither one talking about it. Will they? I highly doubt it. So remember, the historic 5th of November. We'll see about Weber State. They haven't made the tournament since 2016, which is pitiful. When Dylan Jones can't make an NCAA tournament, neither did Damian Lillard. I don't think neither did Jerry Harding, did he? No. He was a freshman in 2017. It's pitiful. Where's Ruben Nemhart when you need him? Where's Jimmy DeGrafferty when you need him? Where's Ronald Bakeman when you need him? Where's that great 69 coach, Phil Johnson, that went to the Sweet 16? Because they reward for mediocrity around here. I mean, stand tuned. I don't believe in violence. Just remember that. And violence is not going to happen. This election won't even be close. Will it change anything? I guess we'll see, but I don't have high expectations. Do you? I voted, and I voted for Bernie Sanders. The theory election because he's an anti-nuker. But I live in Utah. My vote sure the fuck don't count. But I did vote. Stay tuned.